And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the PondCast episode number 106, your weekly dose of all things StarCraft. I'm, of course, your host, VIP, with whom I'm going to be joined by Kuro, handling the production side of things, and, of course, by the lovely people in the chat as well. Welcome, one and all. Again, welcome back to our weekly StarCraft news and StarCraft news adjacent show as well. There's a lot to get into, a lot to discuss, and the first thing to jump into, actually, is the current patch. Now, we've had a couple of people start to speak up. This has been the case for quite some time now, but now we've had some more notable members of the community also express their issues, their disdain with the current iteration of the game. If you know anything about the CranKy Ducklings, you know that we have also been quite, or at least I've been quite vocal about it as well, in regards to the current state of the game and in regards to the current meta as well. How I would say right now StarCraft is not in a healthy place. And Lambo did make a video a couple of days ago echoing those sentiments. Essentially the same thing. It's kind of weird, but it also helps address a couple of things that have been brought up by people that for whatever reason like the patch or want a reason to like it and want to make up a reason to push against people that don't like it. What I mean by that, we've seen it in the Twitch chat as well from time to time. You see a lot on Reddit, people saying like, oh, you know, the only people that don't like, players don't like the new patch because they don't want to adjust, they don't want to learn, right? They don't want to learn, they don't want to adapt to the patch, which is not true, which is just, I don't know why people think this or where this talking point came from, but this is something that people often say to try to kind of push feedback or push criticism under the rug and push it aside by saying they're like, oh, these people don't want to learn. Lambo, he kind of states once again that like, no, like players, like they want to learn, they want to adapt, like he does as well. Like people have been trying all these different things, and this is also why we say that the meta stabilized, because it has, and the players have found the way to quote unquote correctly play on the new patch, and it just isn't the best kind of game state. Referring to PvZ, where Protoss players are rushing into Skytoss, or they're all laning. In regards to ZVT, where it's a Terran player that's being hyper aggressive, or now with the most recent changes to be hyper defensive in a longer and later game with Mass Ghost, or in PvT, where I would say a lot of the issues regarding PvT were not addressed regarding the growth of Protoss in the mid to late game when it comes to that economic advantage, when it comes to that mid game kind of back and forth. But there's basically all the matchups right now like have a bunch of issues. They were not really addressed. Build variety has been reduced. Openers and diversity has been reduced as well. And overall, the patch has not really achieved what it set out to, its initial goals, which was supposed to increase diversity. It decreased diversity. It was supposed to help like shake up the meta in some way. Same with like the change to the workers. That didn't really happen either. And from my experience, and then Lambert kind of like further bolsters like that opinion, is that there are no players that actually like the worker change or like the new patch. The best you can get is that there are some players that are indifferent. There are some players like that which are a little bit more indifferent and are willing to just play, but there's no one that actually enjoys like these changes. And he goes one step further here, and he speaks. It's a bit of a meta conversation. How it's interesting that that so many in the community have kind of unified in a way and turned against and pushed back against the patch, like from all three races, from Protoss, Terran, and Zerg. Like it's almost a unanimous kind of conclusion here that everyone just the patch has been poorly received, to the point where we have people, you know, stepping away from the game, taking breaks from the game. We didn't actually talk about it last week, but Hero came out last week, and he spoke about how he was switching to Zerg to play ZVZ instead of PvZ, specifically for that matchup, because like even though like he has done so many different builds and so many different iterations, like he just has not found a way to play PvZ at the moment. This is something that I should push as well, is that again, players have been trying like a bunch of different builds, a bunch of different styles, and it just is not working. Here is of course one of them alongside, you know, Max Packs and Classic and all the others. So when it comes to PvZ, like it's in a state of disarray. And Lambert, he goes a little bit more into detail here as well, discussing this, talking from a more of a player perspective as well, talking from his own experiences, talking to other pro players. And again, this is just I wouldn't say this is new news. Like this is all things that we've already known. But I think it's good that a more notable figure in the community speaks up about this because this is needed. I feel like there's a lot of people that echo these same sentiments, ourselves included. But we're smaller platforms, smaller channels. Some of the players don't feel like it's their place to vocalize some of this. I think Hero is a good example of that as well. Where if you remember, Hero, when he was interviewed during the GSLCK, what did he say? He said he didn't want to talk about the patch or talk about balance because he didn't want to come off as balance whining. He said that all that he can say is that he and everyone that he's messaged, like no one's having fun. Like no one's having fun on the patch. Like no one's having fun playing StarCraft right now. And that's kind of like that was his statement originally, because he didn't want to come off as balance whining. And a lot of players are like that, where they don't want people to just assume the worst of them when they speak poorly of a patch or poorly of the current state of balance. And here he was like that as well. So yeah, that it's definitely been kind of once again an uptick when it comes to attention now on the patch. We've already gone over this a couple of weeks ago in regards to the upcoming patch post BlizzCon. It has not been confirmed, but based on what Solar said, just I guess as a reminder, there is supposedly a patch coming post BlizzCon, so expect it late September, early October. Our speculation was that if there was going to be a patch coming, and if it was going to be a little more in depth and in detail, that it would be from the NetEase development team, because there is a development team working on StarCraft, but they're working on the Chinese version of StarCraft instead. And SC4ALL were doing a bunch of polling to garner some ideas as to the direction that the game should go in. There was a lot of discussions like that, and that's my assumption, at least, is that if there is a big patch coming, it's not from the Blizzard team, it's from the NetEase team. And that's why, like, maybe they've been working on this entire time, and why it would make sense that we have all these like haphazard patches, but then there's like a bigger one on the horizon that's been worked on concurrently as well. So that's kind of what we're waiting for. That's kind of what we're hoping for. It is a shame that we have to wait so long until post BlizzCon, but it makes sense. Like, you want the game to be somewhat stable for the matches that are going to be taking place at BlizzCon proper. Again, that's going to be September 13th, so it's right around the corner. A couple of weeks until BlizzCon, and then once we get past BlizzCon, then we're expecting another patch. When it comes to other community members speaking on this throughout the scene, Avex, he also spoke up about it as well, approaching it from a different way, but more so asking for more transparency and more communication from Blizzard. I understand why this is being asked for, but I'll be honest, I don't really see them taking this to heart, unfortunately. From our understanding, the Blizzard team, they're from the classics department. Like, they don't really focus and fixate on StarCraft. Yes, they're working it and giving it attention right now, most likely only because of BlizzCon, by the way. And we're not really expecting the amount of attention that StarCraft is getting in terms of patches and in terms of like developer support. We don't really expect that to be a year-long thing. Right now, it feels like we're getting a lot of attention, a lot of stuff, but it's only because we're getting into BlizzCon. Like, post that, like, again, we don't expect them to necessarily touch the game too much after whatever the next big patch is, and we'll be going back to like an annual patch sort of thing. That's at least my expectation. So I understand that Avex is asking for more transparency, asking for more communication, asking for clearly set goals moving forward, and I do think these are all good things. The problem is that because the quote unquote team from Blizzard are working on this so little throughout the course of the year, I don't know if they feel the need to take that extra step forward. I hope they do, 100%. I do hope they do, but I don't know if they feel like it's necessary to try to foster that goodwill with the community and open dialogue and things of that nature. Time will tell. Time will tell. But then, of course, had Loco speaking up as well. Loco, he also like expressed that that we do need a new patch at this point. That he's also, and I would say that Loco is probably one of the more positive people out there in regards to the patch and things that are new and just trying out different things. I think he even says it himself. He's like, it was fun to begin with, but now it's not fun anymore. Like now, now we got to lock in, sort of thing, and we need something to change here. We need a patch soon. Unfortunately, again, as I mentioned, we don't really expect a patch until after BlizzCon. But he's also asking for it. And I do think it's important to point this out just because, again, Loka is typically one of the more positive people, or someone who overlooks a bunch of negative things and tries to push things forward. We, of course, I made a tweet earlier today as well. If you've been following us, you would know that we have decided to take a bit of a step back. We've been casting a little bit less. We stopped casting the Water TV Mondays, and I'm probably going to stop casting the KSLs as well. And we've toned back our coverage of PiGFest Cups. In general, we're just pulling back a little bit here because personally, I'm just not enjoying casting and covering a lot of what the game currently is. Like, it's not very enjoyable. Obviously, we still are going to be hosting the Sparkling Tuna Cup, Masters 1 Open, the Sea Duckling Open as well. All of the events that are funded via Patreon, we will do. GSTL, because we're the main casters for that, we will do that as well, of course. So there are definitely events that we will be continuing. But when it comes to the other events that we just mentioned, so Water TV Mondays, Kung Fu Cups, and potentially even PiGFest Cups as well, we're toning back our coverage on that quite significantly, just because I don't want to burn out. Like, I don't want to at this point, because it's been more of a chore to get through. I don't want to burn out on casting too much of something that isn't really too engaging to me. So hopefully we can tone it back a little bit and enjoy ourselves in what way we can, at least until post BlizzCon. Then we can start to go in once again. So yeah, it's been a rough period. It's definitely been a rough period of time. And what I will say though is that thankfully that there should be like a light at the end of the tunnel, but we're still a ways away. And unfortunately, it does mean that for like a month, we're kind of stuck with 5.0.16, and it's gonna be a shaky month. It's gonna it's gonna be rough. There are already talks, of course, of Zaun. He's looking to retire. Classic, he's looking to transition into Brood War as well. Hero, we have him switching and playing Zerg instead of PVZ. Like there's been a lot of movement from the player side of thing about people starting to step away. You could argue that, like, I guess now is the best time for Zero Space to start popping off. True. I mean, unironically, I think Clem is at the top of the. No, is it Cyril? I think Cyril's number one on the Zero Space ladder.
I don't know who's number one, but I know that Clem has played quite a lot, so it may be Clem.
Yeah, but I saw them both. I know, because when I went to Zero Space, like the ladder is publicly there. But Cyril and Clem, they're both up there in Zero Space ladder, and there's some other notables as well, even from other RTSs. Jimba, Jaime, he's up there. He's Jim Rising. And some of the others, I think, it's for Showtime as well.
Yeah, there's quite a few players. I remember, like, on the very big, like, in one of the few events, I think Nerchio was one of the top players.
Yeah, he still is. I remember seeing him. That surprised me. But Nerchio, he's also playing.
I also want to give a shout out, because I don't remember if it was you, Thermal, pointing it out or someone else, but apparently there's this one guy. He's not like a pro at anything, as far as we know. He's like a ladder hero. But he plays every new RTS that is being released, and he's always at the top of the ladder. It's a fun thing to spot, because, like, they see the same name on every RTS game.
So in that sense, I guess it's a good thing that that's now starting to get into early access and get a little bit more attention. But it is a bit of a shame that, like, it happened. Like, it is still a shame that currently StarCraft is in a big downswing at the moment. And hopefully it is only temporary. Hopefully we can bounce back post BlizzCon. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Pappy. Fingers crossed. Speaking of people not, I guess this is also tangential to that, or it's also along those lines, is Dave Testa. Dave Testa, he also announced, he's also been very vocal about his disdain for the current patch, and especially because now he is organizing the KSL, he himself, as Chicken Man did step away. Dave, he has decided for the KSL to be on the patches mod, not on the base StarCraft game. I know that Dave, he's been enjoying the patches mod quite a bit. The patches mod has been getting a lot of attention as of late, so he is going to be pushing that onto the KSL, which is an interesting decision, I will say. I know that he was asking some of us about our opinions on that, but he really wanted to mix things up. And the reality is, I'll be honest, there wasn't really a lot of pushback because because of the current state of StarCraft right now. I think the only thing that I would say, and I may message him later, is the idea of this being like temporary, depending on what happens, of course, post BlizzCon and what the game looks like. But until then, it is no longer going to be on regular StarCraft, but over on the patches mod instead. Just as a heads up. Likewise, getting into this as well, I do think that we should actually talk about Hyper 1 next, just because that's also a little bit tangential in a sense.
Hey,
Hyper 1...
I have to change like the... I don't have it. Panic.
I know people have been asking us whether we'll start hosting our tournaments on the patches mod. We have not gone that far, but I'm not going to say no forever. There's a world where, honestly, because we're going to start casting some patches mod events with KSL, and we're going to be casting the patches patch clash. The reality is that if it catches our attention, if we start to enjoy it more, we might push it onto Tuna Cup. For now, we won't. For now, Tuna Cup and the rest of our tournaments are going to be on the base version of the game. But there are now more events that are kind of a little bit more enamored with patches mod. I know that Rotterdam, like, he's starting to host his Monday night weeklies like on the patches mod as well. He's been really enjoying it, which is interesting. It caught me a little bit off guard.
Yeah, and also as you said, we have also more people being interested in Zero Space, and you have like Wardy hosting weeklies for Zero Space now. So it looks like people are just looking for different avenues to enjoy RTS.
Yeah. Basically, like people are looking for other things to do except play StarCraft. that's just happening.
I want to emphasize to all the Reddit people, because I do browse Reddit to make sure I'm up on the news. That doesn't mean like, oh, you know, like they have no passion for the game because they play other games. You can play other games. It's fine.
Yeah.
But the problem is that right now, as I said, the StarCraft feels like a chore, so people would rather do something else just because the thing that they enjoy like doesn't give them joy right now.
Yeah, for sure. Up next is Hyper 1. Hyper 1, he also spoke out. This is a little bit different. This is in regards to StarCraft Evolution. And we already knew that he was taking further and further steps away from SE Evo. We spoke about how he had cancelled Code C and Code B and Code A. Like, he had planned to have like a bunch of leagues for StarCraft Evolution, but he did end up canceling them, stating that he was going to focus purely on Code S, on just Code S, but he was already like taking some steps back. But now he's going one step further here. So here he states, "I'm here to announce that I'm taking an indefinite hiatus from StarCraft Evolution complete development work. Although I have been just as disappointed as everyone about the way that Blizzard has been handling StarCraft 2 recently, my decision to leave has to do with personal circumstances, not with any grievances against Blizzard or any individuals in the community." I would imagine that this statement is in regards to, we know that he has been recently a little bit more busy with his IRL job and his IRL career, and that's been taking up a little bit more time. Has been taking more time and more effort. We're releasing one final update in the coming weeks, patch 1.21, which will contain both incremental balance changes and adjustments to bring the units closer to feel to Brood War. I will also set aside time for a follow-up hotfix as necessary. After this, my involvement with StarCraft Evolution Complete will be suspended until further notice. I would like to return at some point, but I cannot guarantee any timeline for it. To be clear, this means I will not be working on, among other things, multiplayer balance design updates, updating the Wikipedia mod, funding and organizing tournaments, creating new maps and blog posts. There are no plans at this time for anybody specific to take over. To DM, I believe that's Kat, with a list of your skills and qualifications to potentially kind of take that role instead. Now, originally I just assumed that this was Hyper 1.
I just want to add one more thing, because a bit after that, Kat also posted the development itself on the mod is still ongoing. It's just specifically Hyper 1 that is leaving the position.
Yeah, I was about to say that Hyper 1, so StarCraft Evolution existed before Hyper 1 and will exist after him. Hyper 1 was only a tournament organizer and did, a couple of months ago, decide to take a bigger role when it comes to balancing the multiplayer version of the game. It's important to bear that in mind. As Kuro just stated, as Kat just had to reiterate, again, like work on the mod and work on the campaign. I remember the campaign especially, and the other aspects of the mod as well. That's all still being worked on. It's all still funded via the Patreon. It's just that Hyper One is now no longer going to be a part of that team, as he does focus on other things. As I mentioned, Cat is going to be looking for someone else to replace or step into Hyper One's shoes. Now, originally, I assumed that this was Hyper One just stepping away from, again, that role in the StarCraft Evo team. But it says here, funding or organizing tournaments. This might also imply that maybe he no longer plans on running SCL, the SCL Code S. If you remember, that's something we were waiting on, that we assumed would be coming on the horizon, but it looks like that might be the end of SCL for the time being, or again, a hiatus. Which is a shame, which is a bit of a shame here, especially because it's similar to like Blizzard pulling the rug in a sense, where Hyper One, he is in charge of the majority of tournaments featuring StarCraft Evolution. So with him stepping away from that, there are going to be significantly less tournaments available for SC Evo. Not at all. I will say that Chijik, for whatever reason, they have really taken a liking to SC Evo. Hence, Crank using the mod in the Crank Gathers tournament or the Murloc King events. I know that Chijik, they sponsored Prome. I think they sponsored one other person to host events like irregularly as well. So like there have been other tournaments featuring StarCraft Evolution. The CIS region, they also do host some events as well. But when it comes to like the foreign scene, the foreigners, like non-Koreans, non-CIS players from the CIS region, it was mainly like StarCraft, the SEL, like the StarCraft Evolution League was mainly what was kind of like propping that up. So without that, there isn't really anyone that can kind of fill that gap when it comes to tournaments. So there is going to be significantly less coverage from us in regards to StarCraft Evolution, unless again like Crank hosts another event with the mod or like say SC Boy or something like that as well. If they ever do kind of dip their toes in.
Let's not forget Enki show matches as well.
True. Enki's also been doing some show matches. True. Which I believe he plans on doing another one soon, by the way. So that's also something that has been occurring on a regular basis as well. So there are going to be some other events, but the main league is going to be on hiatus, which is a big shame. Again, that is going to be hindering a lot of interest in StarCraft Evolution. But as you mentioned, like the mod is still going to be supported, still going to be updated on a regular basis. Just a bit of a switching of hands here. I would probably say that Hyper One leaving the balance team probably has less of an impact than Hyper One stopping his tournaments. I think that probably is going to have a greater impact, of course, on the StarCraft Evolution like player scene specifically. So yeah, that's also going to be occurring. And again, I guess we'll be looking forward to that final patch from Hyper One. Up next, we have the quarterly map contest number 2. This is something that I was not very familiar with. Apparently, it's the second edition, but this is an event for map makers. Where I remember Avex, he explained it a little bit to us previously. How Avex, he spoke about how this is like a fun kind of thing that they started not too long ago, to kind of like. I guess during the off season of TLMC to have some parameters, have some fun maps made in a bit of a different way. So going over the announcement here, I have the pleasure to announce the next QMC, quarterly map contest, which will bring us back to a time before we had to consider mortgages, student debt, and work/life balance. A time where we could shout, bang our arms numb with pom-poms and misspelled ire at Epic Games, and listen about Day 9 stories about Felicity. Yes, as hinted in the winner's announcement of QMC 1, promise these games will be streamed at some point. I am in talks, don't kill. I'm unfamiliar with QMC number 1. We're baiting people with some old nostalgia, and to sweeten the memories, I'm able to increase the prize pool to 200 sweet euros and expand the winnings to top 5. To help you with the research for this particular challenge, I recommend checking out this page, Release History of Maps. The map pool is redesigned. Map pool to redesign can be made under the following headers: the initial beta release, beta patch 9 and 13. Oh my god.
So basically,
based on feedback from players, submission period has been extended. Now it's on Monday up to October 6th.
So basically, the idea for this basically is like a themed contest to like get some creativity going, and the theme for this edition is taking some of the old maps, and by old maps they mean like beta maps, like the release of game maps, and presenting them in a new way, like giving them a new life, like giving them like some new features, but keeping it like the same map essentially. Like the space, like the size of the map stays the same, like most of the features stay the same, but you can add some stuff like to make it more modern.
Yeah, this is something that that Avex has been, if you remember, it's something that he was pushing for during the TLMC, is the idea of potentially just revamp, facelift, give maps a facelift. Like think of like maps from like Heart of the Swarm, Wings of Liberty, to update them in their own way to keep the spirit of the map alive, and to potentially update them and then bring them back into the map pool in the modern era. I know that he was pushing for that and floating that idea and that question around Wax, I believe, during either the last TLMC or the TLMC before that. I don't think many people. I remember that like Omniskeptic was like went after Avex saying like, "Wow, you're lazy. You want to like reuse maps," and he's like, "No, like the whole point is to revamp it and to make it different and to update it in a significant way." So I don't think that's necessarily going to find too much headway when it comes to TLMC and how map pools are created. But this is a nice way of doing that here, of being able to incentivize the idea of updating or facelifting some of these older maps. And yeah, it's definitely a really cool idea, and I look forward to it. Unfortunately, I missed out on the first edition, by the way, but I'd love to see how the second edition does come about.
Is this where you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna cast those games"? Is that the official announcement?
I don't know how that works. I don't know how many games there are. I don't know how that works.
No idea.
We could. It could be fun. It could be a fun thing to do.
Just saying. It would be something different. That's for sure.
Like, do they get players to play on it or something? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, they got like a show match, like some show matches going, basically with like varied skill. I don't know who exactly played, so I cannot tell you.
Yeah. So yeah, we might be able to dip into that. We'll see. Hard to say. It's still a ways away in October 6th, at least when it comes to the submission period. But it would be a lot of fun, especially considering that we've taken a bigger role when it comes to TLMC judging. So the idea of being able to go over some new maps or some revamped maps again sounds fun.
Yeah, I would say TLMC is one thing, but also again, I feel like there are so many maps that are just fun, but they will never make it to TLMC because of the restrictions. Like because there are just some things that right now with the current way it's set up you cannot have on ladder, but there are just some really fun maps that could be played by people otherwise. So I really like the idea of just featuring more stuff. I mean, look, everybody remembers the water slide map back in the day. Because I remember that everybody was casting, like Pig was casting on it, like every caster was doing like show matches, like games on that map, because it was like so unusual, and I feel like it would be nice to have more of that, like in some events.
For sure. I look forward to it. So again, the submissions do close in early October, so still a lot of time to kind of go through maps and work your way through it. Looking forward to what comes of this, though. Looking forward to it, and again, we might reach out in regards to covering some of those matches over in October. Do look forward to it. Up next, some other good news here is the SC store, and we have some new announcements for SC4ALL. One that caught me very off guard here, as we have announced Sue. Sue has been announced here to be one of the invited players. This is surprising just because he's been retired for quite some time. Obviously, Sue came back for Doyo Cup. True. He did come back for Doyo Cup. Did compete there. If you remember, we were expecting him to win. He was the favorite player to win Doyo Cup, but he actually got knocked out by Scarlet. Scarlet did knock him out. So really interesting to see Sue once again after quite a number of months playing and dipping his toes into StarCraft. It's interesting. Like it's on the one hand, it's cool because it's an old school retired player. On the other hand, because of how intense the lineup is, part of me feels a little bit like this could have gone to someone else who is also of the caliber of player that is being invited. Because who gets invited alongside Sue? Maru. Like Maru, he's the other big invite. Maru, he is what, top 2 Terran in the world alongside Clem. And remember, Clem was also announced to be coming. Like Clem is going, Maru is going, Shin, Hero. Like we have the best players in the world there. So it feels a little bit like, I feel like Sue's a little bit misplaced, or he stands out. He stands out as an odd pick amongst a bunch of players that are like the best in the world. I think he'd be a little more fitting if this was maybe a little bit more casual. If we weren't inviting Clem, Hero, and Maru, then sure, right? Like we can have a little bit more fun with it. It feels weird that we have Clem, Shin, Maru, and then Sue. It's like what? it's like what's going on here?
Wait a second.
And like,
wait a second. Right. You got ahead of yourself. Sue is invited for Brood War.
Oh, that makes more sense. Maybe. How good is he in Brood War?
I mean, I heard he played it for a while, like as in like recently.
Yeah.
So,
is he currently competing in Brood War?
Quickly,
Okay.
we need someone to give us Brood War updates because we don't really follow.
I mean, if this is I'll be honest, maybe I'm biased. If this was going to be a Brood War pick, I wish they had gone True. That would have been amazing. That would have been.
I want to see True play. Like I have not seen him in years. Like I never catch any tournament that he's in.
That's my bias speaking there. That's my bias. But I would have loved if, especially because True, his English is not too bad. I mean, maybe it's gotten worse over time because he has not been using it too much, but it's possible. But that's.
We have Sada Said in the chat saying that he nearly got into ASL this season. Apparently he's been very active.
Okay. I think that's probably a decent level. This kind of brings forward a different discussion now. So suddenly he might be out of place. This now relies on the Brood War invites because from my understanding, based on the amount of comments that we were getting on our coverage of the previous SC4ALL events, if you remember, we casted SC4ALL the Brood War edition as well, and they had a bunch of NA players. They had Artosis, they had a bunch of other NA players as well, and they're very competitive amongst themselves. But from my understanding, like they're still like, I don't know, like A-rank players sort of thing. Like they're not necessarily the best of the best, which is fine. But this is where now hopefully like the Brood War invites are also like of this kind of caliber, and they don't just invite Sue and then he just rolls over everyone, right? Like ideally you have like a competitive tournament. My criticism of inviting Sue was I was concerned about his performance in SC2 compared to everyone else. Well, if he's going to be in Brood War, then it's the opposite. Then it's like, oh, now I'm concerned about everyone else compared to Sue. If that gap in skill is too great, right? Like you don't, because that's not what you want in a tournament. You don't want someone to come in and just walk over everyone, right? So yeah, we'll see. I believe for the Brood War events, they've only announced they announced the previous finalist. It was Artosis, and it wasn't Viper. What was his name? Striker. That's it. No, it was Striker. So Striker, they invited him as well. So they invited like some of the previous NA competitors, which is good. I guess we'll see who else gets invited alongside Sue and how many more invites the Brood War competition gets. They released a hint. What was the hint? A mystery challenger, or was that regarding Sue? No, it was. Okay.
I think we only had 2 mystery announcements for it so far. Maybe there will be more. I don't know. Maybe. Like SC Historia is like posting them like every few days, so there will be more.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Sue and Mara were the mysteries. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Tio is very active too. That'd be fun. Oh, I would push against that. I would want people around Artosis' skill level. Like if you're getting Artosis and Striker, that's right. Just to make that clear.
How
Like
good is Artosis nowadays? Is my question.
he's not bad. He's not bad.
Okay.
He's not a bad player.
Because I know his mindset is bad, but that doesn't say anything about his
yeah,
rank.
no, yeah. He has the worst mindset out there, 100%.
Like he's worse than Idra probably, actually.
But he is. But he got like top 4 last tournament, I think, right? I think he got top 4. I think he got knocked out by Striker. But like that's what I mean. Like I would want players around the skill level of Striker, of Artosis, of the NA players that are going to be there. So that's my concern. That's the caliber of skill that would make for a good tournament. Instead of like inviting like I don't know, like Sue and like Flash or Sue and TY.
Just straight up Flash. I think we're going straight for Flash.
Yeah. Yes. But like that's the equivalent of like TY. It may as well be the same thing. Like right, like if you invite like 2 Koreans and then you have and if their skill level is if the disparity is too great, then I mean it could be anyone. But like those are going to be the finalists, and that makes for a boring tournament, right? That makes for a boring event. So you want them to be much lower, much closer to the other competitors. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see who's going to be the next Broodor invite. Hopefully it'd be again like someone below ASL tier, right? Like that's I guess that'll be close enough. Maybe even below that. I don't know. But yeah. Below ASL tier. So we'll see. We'll see who further gets announced. But regardless, it's looking like a really fun event. Really, what would have been peak is that Sue gets invited not to play in Brood War, but to play in StarCraft 64.
Yes.
And only in the StarCraft 64 tournament.
Hold on. Isn't the StarCraft 64 like open for people who are there? They should just make the players play the 64 version, just for fun, for content.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure
we need to see them struggle as they try to go through the controls.
Mm-hmm. Oh. So wishing the best. Wishing the best when it comes to the SC4ALL events. And again, more invites to be announced soon. Up next, we do have the Pigsty Festival number 8. Results have been coming in regards to the event. We have still yet to conclude the playoffs. Will be taking place this weekend, but the group stage did wrap up. I believe last time we had the PondCast, we were just going over the qualifiers, but now, yeah, the group stage has taken place here. Group A, we had Serral, Shin, Rogue, Lambert. This was the group of ZVZ. I remember saying that this was going to be a harder one to call. Serral and Rogue, for example, they're the top 2 players in the season of RSL, but Rogue, Shin, Solar, Lambert, they all trade, they all go back and forth, and here it was Shin that took down Rogue this time. So Rogue, he does fall to Shin 3-0 in that final qualifying match. So instead of Serral and Rogue, it's going to be Serral and Shin advancing out of Group A. Up next, we had Group B. Group B was Xian, Big Gabe, Bjorn, and Showtime. My assumption was Bjorn and Showtime would make it through, if I remember correctly. But no, Xian popping up here. Very surprising. Very surprising, considering that Xian has been playing a lot less StarCraft as of late. But he takes down Showtime 2-1, takes down Bjorn 3-0. Very impressive showing here by Xian. Big Gabe, likewise, takes down Bjorn in the TBT. Very impressive play here. Gabe and Xian do make it through. Up next, we had Group C. Group C was Solar, Hero, Cure, and Christiana. Here, if you recall, when it comes to our predictions, Solar was a sure thing, and it was a toss-up between Hero and Cure. In the end, Hero did make it through. He did take down Cure 2-0, did fall to Solar, but did take down Cure in the rematch as well, 3-1. GG well played. Solar and Hero will advance on and will make it through. Up next, we had Group D. Group D, we had Rainer, Maru, Shameless, and Trigger. Here, Maru, he did advance out in second place. Rainer came out in first place. Maru did take a map off of Rainer, so shout out to Maru. Did cause the upset, did take a map. But here, Maru takes down Shameless 3-0 in the final qualifying match. GG well played. Then we had Rainer and Maru advancing on, and with that we have constructed the final bracket. We have Serral and Rainer, more ZVZs in the upper quarterfinals. Xian versus Solar. In the lower bracket we have Gabe, Hero, Shin, and Maru. All that I would ask, but at this point it's a hard thing to ask for, is a non-ZVZ finals. But again, it is going to be difficult here. Hero and Xian have been struggling against Zerg. So has Maru and Gabe. Like that's just the reality. That's especially in like I can see them defeating Zerg opponents in shorter like best of threes. But if we're talking, especially here coming into these matches, these are best of sevens. That's crazy. Whoa, they're all best of what? Every series is a best of seven except for the finals. That is insane. That's a lot of matches here. So the likelihood of like an upset or catching a player off guard is much lower in a longer series like this. So obviously best of luck to Maru, Hero Marine, and Zaun. I would love to see a diverse kind of like top four and a diverse finals. But best of luck. Best of luck to the players. As that does cover the Pigsty Festival. Again, will be taking place over the weekend, starting tomorrow, I believe. Will be the first day. Up next, we did have the GSTL, the GSTL Global StarCraft 2 Team League. We, of course, were the main English casters for this event. It did take place a couple of days ago, and it's going to be a massive event here. Big group stage. For those that are maybe unaware, we did cast this live on Soup, and we did just have the rebroadcast earlier today. So if you missed the VOD, it's over on YouTube. It is now on YouTube or on Soup as well when it comes to the live coverage. For those that are unaware, GSL, they have a Patreon, patreon.com/GSL, and they have a bunch of stretch goals, and they were pushing and advertising and pushing for Season 3. Season 1 and Season 2 were funded this year. They were pushing for Season 3, but Season 3 did not get funded. So there is no GSL Season 3 this year. Didn't get funded, but we got like halfway there. Like when it comes to the amount raised, we got like halfway to Season 3. So with all that excess money, with all that excess resources, that was being spent on GSL CK, if you recall. That was like a bi-monthly tournament. But GSL or Soup, they have decided that with that excess resources to instead do something fun with it and host the Team League once again. After 13 years, the GSTL has returned again with some of those excess resources from the Patreon. Again, if you want to help support GSL and fund future seasons of GSL, you can do so via the Patreon. Again, that's why we don't have a third season of GSL this year, as the goal was not met. But at least they were able to bring this together instead. So for those who are unaware, the GSTL is a Global StarCraft Team League. This did take place back in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. The last season was back in 2013, was back when Axiom was competing, if you recall. It was Axiom Acer versus Azubu in the grand finals. That was back when Scarlet was living in Korea, Innovation and MMA. They were on Acer, they were playing, and they were actually living with the Axiom boys, all in the Axiom team house, with all the bunk beds and all the nonsense that ensued. But again, they were all competing together, and in the end, Axiom Acer, they were the last GSTL champions. It went all the way to the Super Ace match. It was Innovation versus Supernova in the grand finals. I still remember it. That was one of the first big events that I watched live. I remember staying up. I say stay up. It was at a decent time for us here in Australia, but watching on the GOM player on the on the GOM, I think it was like GOM EX player. It was not on Twitch. No, not on Twitch back then. It was quite an experience, of course, quite an experience. But yeah, I remember watching them, cheering for them, of course. Big Axiom fans here, and in the end, they did claim the win. But it's been 13 years. It's been 13 years since that fateful day, and now we're back. Now we're back with GSTL in its own format, of course, in its own way. We have our teams here that were invited. There were no qualifiers. We had Basilisk being invited. We had T1 onside. So onside, they partnered with T1. That basically means Hero gets to play. Otherwise, T1 don't have a big enough roster. So Hero's able to compete. We had Team Hwasong. This is a reference to Hwasong Oz back in the day, back in Brood War. If you remember, Cure, Rogue, and SOS, before they joined Team 8, before they joined Jin-Air, or maybe it might have been one of the same when it comes to Team 8. But before Jin-Air was a thing, they were all on Team Hwasong Oz back in Brood War. So they did come together, and they're giving reference to Hwasong. If you're curious as to why they're not giving reference to Jin-Air, they did in the WTL, in the Wardy Team League. Earlier this year in the Wardy Team League, it was Cure, Rogue, SOS, and Creator. That was back when Creator was playing. But they did play together as... it was either ex-Jin-Air or Jin-Air no Maru. I can't remember which one. But they were playing together under that Jin-Air banner. Here, they're playing together, this time not under Jin-Air. This is a deeper reference, playing for Team Hwasong. which is really cool. We then have Team No GG. This is Classic, Clem, Percival, and Solar. It's all known for being BM. Kappa. And up next we have Shopify. Shopify as well, which is Björn alongside Lambo, Harstem, and Scarlet. So we do have our 5 teams in total, and they're going to be facing off in the group stage, round robin group stage. We did cover day 1 of this a couple of days ago already. Again, the rebroadcast was this morning on Twitch and YouTube. It was honestly a really fun event. You might be looking at the format here. It's a little bit weird. I believe there is another page that shows it a little bit in greater detail. But up first, we had Hwasong versus T1 Onside. They first competed in a Pro League format. So Pro League format means that the matchups are announced ahead of time. The players are announced ahead of time, and they face off in a bunch of best of ones, creating a best of 5 in total. So Hero took down SOS 1-0, Shin took down Rogue 1-0, Cure fought back, he took down Maru. So we did not get one-sided series here. Cure did take down Maru, and then Shin took down Rogue to win it for Team T1 Onside. So T1 Onside, they take down Hwasong in the Pro League format. Then they had the all-kill format. So this is when a player wins, they stay on. So Maru, he took down SOS. He got his revenge over Cure, taking him down as well. Then Rogue brought him down and pulled off almost the reverse all kill. He forced the A smash, taking down Maru, taking down Hero, and then Shin beat Rogue once again. Shin beat Rogue once in the all kill format and twice in the Pro League format. Shin just having Rogue's number in the ZVZ shuts him down, 3-0s him in this event, and in the end, T1 Onside do win the match over Hwasong. Up next, we had Shopify versus No GG. In the Pro League format, we had Clem. Clem takes down Björn playing Protoss. Clem, he did play Protoss for the first time in quite some time, in like 2 months. Clem's been playing TBT, but here did play Protoss. So great to see his return. Scarlet took down Solar in the ZVZ in Fear and Faith. Percival took down Lambo, and Classic took down Björn. Scarlet, the only player to take a map here in the Pro League format. That led us into the all-kill format as well. Björn did kick things off with a win over Percival, and then Solar all-killed. Solo took down Björn, Lambo, and Scarlet. So big all-kill there from Solar. In the end, No GG take down Shopify. That was day 1. That was all day 1. In around 5 days' time, we're going to be live with day number 2. It's going to be Bastos versus No GG and Hwasong versus Shopify. Then we have Shopify versus T1 Onside, Hwasong Basilisk, and so on and so forth. Again, round robin, everyone plays against everyone. There's going to be 5 days of group stage that will lead, and there's going to be a bunch of seeding matches, of course, to determine how players do get seeded into the playoff bracket. So a lot of content, a lot of StarCraft, a lot of matches here. It's a really fun format, really fun event.
I would also like to mention, because I just remembered that we didn't go over the actual announcement of GSTL, because remember, last PondCast, they just released the Korean version and there was no English version yet. But an important thing to keep in mind is that the teams are also incentivized to hold scrim matches between like the regular weekly scheduled matches. They are also free to basically have clan wars, from what I understand, and they can get extra prizes for that. Like there's a separate prize pool set for the matches set between the teams themselves.
Yeah, there you go. So I would imagine that if that happens, it's probably going to be streamed on Soup, just because there's a lot of these guys have been streaming on Soup as well. It might get casted by like Inu or by Crank would cast if T1 Onside like competing something, then like Ryung or Crank, they would cast it 100%. But the others, I don't know if there would be like some casting coverage of it, and especially not in English. I doubt that would happen. But in Korean, it should be there. So extra content over on Soup. If you want to tune in, do follow the respective channels, for sure. But again, it's a really fun event. It's its own format of GSTL, of course. Like, there was no qualifiers, and we are missing some teams. I kind of glossed over it, but unfortunately, there's no like Team Liquid competing here. Team Liquid, I feel like, would be a solid team, but they kind of split Team Liquid up into Cure joining Hwasong and Clem joining No GG, so the players are kind of split up instead, just to allow for these other teams to exist and to be competitive as well. So So yeah, so just bear that in mind. No Team Liquid here, but Shopify, no GG, Hwasong, Basilisk, and T1 on site. And then it looks like fun. Looks like, I mean, it has been a lot of fun already, and looking forward to more matches in the coming weeks, of course, as the group stage will wrap up in 2 weeks' time, and then the playoff bracket thereafter. Here we go. As a big shout out to Luis GGG, God, baby God, thank you so much for the raid. We do appreciate it. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Welcome everyone all to the PondCast. We're just going over the news of the week in StarCraft. Going over the news, so just catching up. Is there a team league format that lesser rewards the strength of the best player on the team and more measures the average skill level on a team? Oh, well, I mean, that's the purpose of the Pro League format, right? Like in a Pro League format events, you can't, a player can't carry necessarily. Like it's a team effort. You can have like the ace player like Maru or like Hero, for example, but they have but they only get 1 point. It's on the rest of the team to excel instead, right? That's the advantage of the Pro League format, of course. That's what makes it fun, because it also incentivizes players, or at least back in the day, it would incentivize players to help each other out to prepare for their respective matches, because every match did count, every match mattered. And you need, you're only as strong as your weakest player at that point as well, because you don't want to fall in that kind of sense. The caveat to that is that there is still an ace match, and you can still, like, quote unquote revive a player for an ace match. That is true, but for the most part, like, it's a team effort. That's why Pro League was so loved and beholden, for sure. Same with GSTL as well, for sure. But up next is the Patches Monday number 3. Once again, this event is organized by Rotterdam, not organized by Patches. I think it's important to bear that in mind, because fun fact, I actually reached out to Patches about this. I was like, oh hey, like, do you have any replays for the Patches Monday? He's like, you know what, it's got my name on it, but I have nothing to do with it. He was like, I don't organize it, I don't admin it, I don't collect, it has nothing to do with me. It's all Rotterdam. I was like, oh, okay, never mind, Pappy, never mind. It's just the mod has his name in it. So the Patches Monday number 3 did take place here, and once again we did have a lot of competition here in regards to the European players. We had Clem, we had Lambo, we had Rainer as well. Some rarer sites in open tournaments. Great to see them competing here, of course. Lorimbo was there, Shameless as well. So Clem takes down Lilix 2-1, takes down Lambo 2-1, does fall to Rainer in the upper bracket finals. Rainer does take down Björn, takes down Clem, and Rainer does get the win over Clem in the grand finals 3-2. 2 best of 3s back to back, but Rainer will claim the win. I should also emphasize something here before I get ahead of myself, but this is a tournament taking place on the Patches mod, which is a custom mod that does have a bunch of changes. There's a bunch of different upgrades, a bunch of different it's just a very different meta, very different game. It's very overwhelming. There are so many upgrades added to this mod. We last casted this mod last year, November. It's been almost a year since I've casted this mod, but since then it's changed a lot as well. Like, there's been a lot of updates to a lot of changes.
Fun fact,
for sure,
Light is casting the Patches mod tomorrow.
True. I gotta do my homework, baby. I gotta open up the notes, the patch list, and I'll do my best to have it all sinking again. It's because, again, it's been almost a year since I've casted it, so yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm sure. I'm looking forward to it. Gonna be looking forward to it tomorrow. But again, it's definitely refreshing. It caught me by surprise that Rotterdam latched onto it as much as he did. I guess it really did speak to Rotterdam of all people, which again caught me by surprise. And I'm excited to see just how much the mod has evolved since November last year. We'll see. Looks like the players had fun. Maybe. I know that, like, Rotterdam has been poking a bunch of these players to compete in his tournaments, for sure. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited to find out for myself how the game pans out. From back when we were casting it, it was heavily Terran weighted and Terran favored. We were covering quite a bit of TVTs for a while there as well. I think even Patches said so himself. But again, it's been like months of like iteration and updates and changes as well. So excited to see what it brings, what it holds. I'm excited. Up next, we did have the amateur team league, the amateur league tournaments, the amateur league weekly, if you will, number 169. Once again, this is a weekly tournament for the amateur scene. Depending on what league you're in, you can take part in the different tournaments. First is the Initiate Weekly for bronze to platinum players. Up first, we did have Alarak. Alarak gets a walkover win in the first round, takes down Deep Sun 2-0, and takes down Deep Sun 3-0 in the grand finals. Congratulations to Alarak, a player that I'm not very familiar with or haven't seen here before, more of a newcomer to the event. GG. GG all played. Up next, we have the Veteran Edition. This is for Diamond 3 to Diamond 2 players. Here we have the regulars. I see Pretty Fly. I see Glacius, Clefutos even. I do see Lucid Shadow, Old Lady, Scorpion as well, Happy T-Kid. A lot of regulars here. They all face off. Balimko takes on Pretty Fly 2-0. To advance onto the upper bracket. Happy T-Kid takes down Lucid Shadow 2-1. Happy T-Kid is a bit of a newer face that I've been noticing over the past couple of weeks, having better performances. Happy T-Kid takes down Balimko 2-0, but actually falls to Pretty Fly. Pretty Fly came in from the lower bracket, takes down Happy T-Kid 3-2, went all the way to the ace match. GG well played. Congratulations to Pretty Fly. GG well played, does claim the win. That leads us into the Prestige Edition. This is for Diamond 1 to Masters 2. Here we had Set. So we have a regulars. We see Set, Nelson, Boreal, Defiance as well. Bit of a smaller bracket than what we're used to seeing. There's no Beast, for example. There's no Steez. We are missing some of the regulars. No, sorry, Beast is there. No, my apologies. We're missing Milka. And some of the others. But Beast does take down Defiance 2-0, takes down Set 2-1, and takes down Boreal 3-0 in the grand finals. GG. GG well played. The Beast does claim the win. A solid performance in that grand final series. Yeah. That leads us into the Elite Edition. Which is not a walkover. Oh, it's actually a series. Nox plays against Papela. Actual series here. A fun fact, I don't think any of those two are actually GM level. I think they're both. But regardless,
hey, no other competition showed up, so they win.
Yeah. It's cool to see them face off there. Papela does claim the win over Nox 3-2. Actual series, which is a rare sight. Normally, it's just walkover wins week after week after week. So yeah, we get a rare sight here, actual series. Congratulations to Papela. Or Papella. Congratulations. That leads us into our next amateur tournament, the Ducklings Open. This was our amateur league, amateur monthly tournament for up to 4.2k MMR, bronze to diamond, if you will. Ducklings Open number 148. Here we had our round of 8 brackets. We had, speaking of pretty, I mean, you should recognize some of these players. They are. Again, they were also competing in the other event. We had Pretty Fly, we had Clefutus as well. We see Antari, Meisenhower, Tortuga, and Libre as well. Sugarcoat and Glorious Mode. Here we had Meisenhower. Meisenhower takes down Antari 2-1, takes down Tortuga 2-0, and takes down Clefutus 3-0 in the grand finals. GG well played. Meisenhower does claim the win. That leads us into the All Things Protoss Team League Season 5. Do we have a champion? We do. We have a champion here. Again, Bomyoja, he was very diligent covering these matches and hard at work as well. I believe last time we had already covered the quarterfinals. Up next was the semifinals that take place. The South Magyars take down 0 aggressive options 7-3. Lorimbo and Nihe, they tie 1-1. Magnath takes down Cobblestone 2-0. New Horizons falls to Sacred Coconut 2-0. We had Azaril take down Lowless 2-0. And then Legoland Man takes down Tixt 2-0 as well. GG well played. Again, the South Magyars do claim the win. Then they face off against the Sourdough Caliphate in the grand finals. We had more of a back and forth here. Went the distance. New Horizons takes down Lilix 2-0. Ardent takes down Legolandman 2-0. We had Sebestus and Nihid tie 1-1. We had Waffles and Azarel tie 1-1. Regal and Magna tied 1-1. And then it all went down to the ace match. The final game, New Horizons takes down Sebestus 1-0 in the grand finals. GG. Or in the ace match. GG well played. The South Magyars, they are going to be this season's All Things Pro Tours Team League champions. GG. GG, baby. GG. They're going to be our champions. They take down the Sourdough Caliphate 6-5. Congratulations. Congratulations. With that, the season comes to a conclusion. But again, look forward to the next season. If you want to take part in this event, I believe they do have a Discord server where you can, of course, depending on your own, or depending on the requirements. They do have a bunch of MR requirements based on the division, based on the league, but you can take part. You can join up and be a part of the All Things Pro Tours Team League. It's a lot of memes. It's a lot of nonsense. Be aware of that. Be aware of that coming into it. They're all animals.
It's the best league, but like the whole point of the league is the memes.
Yeah, it's the best league, but it's also a big meme. It's a massive meme. It's yeah. So do get involved. But congratulations here to the South Magyars. Up next we have the Born Gosu Star League Revival Playoffs. Oh, looks like we finally wrapped them up. I know that they've been, I think we've been waiting on that for quite some time. I think we've been waiting on that update. But we did get the playoffs to get underway. Coming into this, who are the favorite players here? Was there a favorite player? We got some invites. Greenard, I think maybe Greenards. But in the end, Greenard, he takes down Ashen 2-0, takes down Shask 2-1. Arts, we have another one. Arzt, I should say. Arzt takes down Patches 2-1. It looks like Arzt gets a walkover win in the upper bracket finals, actually. Okay. But then Greenard comes back, plays random against Patches, and then takes down Arzt 3-0 in the finals. Again, Greenard was coming in as the favorite player for sure, and he does claim the win. GG well played. And again, great to see more Born Gosu again. We have our own ties with Born Gosu from many, many years ago, and they used to be a much more active team back in the day. So great to see them active once again. GG well played. Up next, we have the Legacy Weekly Tapioca. We're here for the boba. And once again, Tapioca does claim the win. Takes down Horiken 2-1, takes down Crimson 2-0, takes down Jacko 2-0 in the grand finals. Again, Tapioca Boba is the best player in all of Japan. This is a strictly Japanese weekly open tournament. And Tapioca does claim the win. GG well played. Este Boba. Up next, we have the Rookie Warp Gate Invitational 2026 July edition. Again, Rookie Warp Gate is a Chinese team. They're more of an amateur team, full of up-and-coming players, of course. They do host a lot of events for their team, for their members. Here we had the Code A and Code S editions wrap up. Drink. I think I was favoring Drink versus Pioneer in the finals. Pioneer did not make it though. Joseph takes down Pioneer 3-1. Drink takes down Momo, takes down Wonder of You, and takes down Joseph 4-1 in the grand finals. I like to think that Wonder of You is the map maker that made Missing You today.
I was thinking very similarly. Not that they made it, but like that they must be related in some way. Maybe they're from the 100%. Same K-drama or something.
Yes, 100%. Wonder of You, he plays best on Missing You today. Easily. God damn it. We then had the Code A edition. We had Lumina, and he faced off against Glorium in the grand finals. Glorium does take down Lumina 4-0. GG well played. Glorium will be our Code A champion. Drink will be our Code S champion. Congratulations to our players. Up next, we have the Aeneas Cup number 12, aka the PCEC Cup number 12. Remember, the PCEC, they have been rebranded. I don't know why. I don't know the story behind it or the rationale behind it, but PCEC have rebranded. They are now called Team Aeneas. And they have been running this event on a semi-regular basis. Up next, we did this is a kind of like an inter-team event. We had similar to the Rookie Warp Gate tournaments. Again, a lot of Chinese teams, they run their own events with their own players. Here we had Number takes down Sama 3-2, but does fall to Helive 2-3 actually in the grand finals. Players that I'm very unfamiliar with. Once again, these are more like amateur players. Announced they have some bigger names, have some stronger players on their team, but this is for like their, the rest of their members, I should say, to compete, to face off. So congratulations to Leaf. GG. GG, well played for claiming that win. Up next, oh my god, we just keep on coming. Up next, we have the NS Cup, number 13. Number 13, we have, there was a bigger lineup here. Hold on, was there a difference in prize pool? Here, 40 USD, slightly, but not really. Here we got, I believe that's Millennium Fox, right? Un momento. Yeah, that's Millennium Fox. Millennium Fox takes down, is that Nanami? No. That's Xiao Huatui. Okay. So Millennium Fox does take down his opponent 3-0 in the semifinals, but actually falls to Sama, who we mentioned earlier in the previous tournament. Hold on. Shinsen Sama. But yeah, I favor Millennium Fox. Like, he's a big favorite. He's a big favorite amongst the Chinese players. Like, he's one of the younger, like, stronger up and coming Terran players. But I guess it is the latest patch. Like, true. Like in my it is something that creeps up and something that does come to mind, and that maybe even influences this a little bit as well. But yeah, like I would 100% favor Millennium Fox above all these other players. So big shout to Sama for claiming the win, 3-2, huge win here for Sama. GG, well played, big win, takes down Millennium Fox 3-2 to be our champion for the NS Cup number 13. Boy. Up next, we do have the new weekly tournament here, the weekly Open Cup for the Chinese region, the StarCraft 2 Weekly Open Tournament 2026 Season 2 Number 8. For those that are unaware, this is a weekly tournament for the Chinese region, sponsored by Thunderfire. Remember, Thunderfire, they've been organizing and hosting a bunch of big events, to the point where now they do host this massive event on a regular weekly basis, has a bigger prize pool than a lot of the international weekly tournaments. It's a $500 prize pool, 500 USD, I should say. 500 USD. Here we had Oriana. Oh, Oriana coming back here. Takes down Misaki 2-0. Takes down... who is that? That is... Oh, that's Silky. Wait, what? Dayaneko. Okay, takes down Silky 2. That's huge. Takes down Silky 2-0. Takes down Misaki 2-0 to advance on to the grand finals. Lemon took down Jello Loves. Lemon took down a Millennium Fox 2-1. Went to the ace match. We didn't take note of him earlier. Takes down Jeshi 2-1 as well. And Lemon will be the champion here, taking down Oriana 2-0. Remember, Lemon is a regular. He's a regular champion. He is one of the best players in the region, of course. We expect like Lemon, Cyan, Jeshi. It is surprising to me that Oriana made it as far as he did. So shout out to Oriana. Didn't win the event, but really strong showing.
On that note, a quick note. I believe this is the last event before the Season 2 finals of this tournament.
There you go. There is going to be a season final. I mean, we had a season finals previously for Season 1, but it looks like we will have a season finals here as well. So expect the best of the best players in China facing off. Look forward to it. Do look forward to it. Up next, we had the Zhesheng Cup number 1. This is a show match. There's a new show match tournament here, or new show match series. We'll see if it becomes a series. It's the first edition. It is organized by... Do we know the organizer? Let's have a look. From Toho Project. Oh, okay. So he's a caster for Toho Project. It's Saber. Oh, that's Saber. Yeah. What the hell? Why does it not say that? This is Lil Lee. This is Saber. So Saber,
okay, hold on. This is my PSA to all the Chinese editors of Wikipedia.
Yep.
Please pick a name and stick to it. Yep. I don't care if it's in Chinese, if it's in Roman letter. I don't care. As long as it's one name and it's consistent on all pages. So we don't always have to wonder who that is, because it's very common in the Chinese scene that like a single player, or even as you said, a caster, can have different name each event, and that gets very confusing.
So, as Kura is saying, it's very, very common for Chinese players on Wikipedia for their names displayed to alternate between, like, their Romanized name, like their Chinese name, their ID but in Chinese, or their IRL name. Like, it's very, very common with that they mix it up, and very often we're like, oh, who's this? Then we look into it, it's like, oh, it's someone that we already know. It's just they just typed in something different on Wikipedia. It's like, god damn it. It's very common. It's very, very common. Silky is an example of that, right? Where earlier I had to check and it's like, oh, that's Silky. Okay, just yeah, shaking my head. Keeps happening. Keeps happening. Speaking of Silky, is that Nanyu? I think that's Nanyu. Oh, I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Speaking of Silky, is that Nanyu? Perfect.
Yeah, it is. It is Nanyu. So this show match was between Mana and Nanyu. There's another example where they're called Nanyu sometimes, or Chinese characters here instead, which translates to Nanyu. That is Mana and Nanyu. It looks like they face off in a best of 7, actually, an intense back and forth, and it went all the way to the ace match. Went all the way to the ace match, all the way to game 7. So very competitive, very close series here between the two. I would typically favor Mana, actually, but that's also because we rarely get to see the Chinese players compete against foreigners. So this is a good kind of like way to gauge the current level of some of these players. Like Nanyu, I would put him like in the middle of the pack amongst the Chinese players. Like I'd put Nanyu below Silky, of course. I'd put him below Nanami Chiaki, below Millennium Fox, for example. Maybe around the same level as Millennium Fox, for example. So to see him go to the ace match against Mana is impressive, and it gives us a better idea as to, again, some of the skill level of the Chinese players, for sure. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Mana. Shout out to Nanyu for forcing the ace match. Congratulations. And we'll see if this becomes a regular event. Again, this is organized by Saber. So Saber, he is a caster. He does cast a lot of tournaments. He's in charge of Little League Cup, for example. So there's a high chance that we're going to be seeing more of this. High chance. Up next we had the Don Don Cup show match. Oh my god. Okay. This is also hold on. Organizer. Who's this? Do we know who this is? Oh, his name is Don Don. Okay. So Don Don Cup show match. I'm very unfamiliar with the organizer of this event. Looks like is Taiwanese though, and that makes sense as it was a Taiwanese show match between Rex and Nice. Nice, if you remember, he's a retired Protoss player. He was at one point the best player in all of Taiwan. Nowadays, I would say that Lemon is the best player in Taiwan. I would have said that a better show match here would have been maybe Lemon versus Rex, to be honest. But instead we had Rex versus Nice. Very fun, nostalgic show match. There was a time where they were very competitive, where Nice was actually the better player. Again, Nice, he was the best player in Taiwan for a time, even better than Haas towards the end as well. But here, Rex takes down Nice 4-0 in our best of 7 show match. Congratulations to Rex, and shout out to Don Don for hosting the event. We'll see if we host more of these as well. We'll see. And if they get Lemon involved, sure. See if they get him involved. Up next, we have the final show match of the week. That is the Bassless Big Brain Bounce number 126. We have our 3 show matches back to back to back to back. I guess that means there was no Shopify Sunday this week. Was it no?
Not that I know of. That's all I can say.
Okay. We had Rushy. Oh, Rushy, the old Alpha X caster. I know that he's been streaming a little bit more as of late. And looks like and I actually saw him tweet about this. Actually, yeah. He tweeted after the series, giving a shout out to Bassless and to Roddy for bringing him on to play. But Rushy, he's aced down Holy Squid 3-1 in a best of 5. A big win there for Rushy. Good friend. As he pops in from time to time. Up next, we have the good one. We have our next show match, Nickrat versus Neeb. I believe this is Neeb's second series after his announced return to the game. I think last week we saw him in an Open Cup, right? Was he in Kung Fu Cup, maybe? I need to double check here.
As well?
No, yeah. I think it was the Pigsty qualifier, right? Yes, there we go. So I just double checked. So last week he was in the Pigsty qualifier where he lost to Cristiano, and this week he was in the Big Brain Bouts where he will lose 0-3 against Nickrat. So far, I just double checked, those are the only 2 events that he's played in since it was announced he was returning to the game. Again, it was announced like maybe 2-3 weeks ago that he was returning to StarCraft, and we were waiting to see, what tournaments he'd start to play in. So far, PiGFest qualifier and this show match. Still, as you can see here, has some room to grow and is still kind of building up. But due to the fact that there was like an official announcement of his return to play, I would imagine that he will stick with it and keep playing and keep competing. But so far, this is the second time that we've seen him back since Doyo Cup, basically. The Cup. So congratulations, Nick Rat. He will claim the win 3-0 over Neeb. I would say that this, like, we threw Neeb into the wolves here. Like, I'll be honest, I would have said like Neeb versus Moja might have been a little bit closer, maybe. Like I think Moja could have been like a better opponent here. Nick Rat is someone who's very active and who's like one of the best Terrans in Europe, unironically. He's like below Gabe, right? Like when you think of European Terrans, it's like Clem, Gabe, Spirit, like those three, and Spirit's very inactive nowadays. And then right under them, Nicaract. Then it's like Nicaract, and then like Baby Marine, right? And then Moja. Right? Remember, Battle B is retired. Cuckoo has retired. I'm just trying to think of the other European Terrans. Ageddon is retired. True. I think there's another one that's like slipping in my mind. Shark Ripper, he retired. Soon he plays a little bit, but he's more or less retired as well. So like, yeah, like Nicarac's like top 5, like European Terran. Like he's like top 4. Sorry, he's top 4. So that's a little bit brutal to send Neeb at Nicarac. I would have hoped for like a Moja or a Baby Marine, but in the end it was a 3-0. Scrolling down here, we have the Basilisk one. This is Trigger versus Showtime PvP. Interesting. In the end, does go heavily in favor of Trigger. GG will play. Trigger does claim the win over Showtime. Does claim the win. So congratulations to Trigger, to Nicaract, and to Rishi for their matches. That was all of our show matches here for the week. Up next, we have the OSC events. First is going to be the OSC Elite Rising Star number 20. We, of course, did cover this event, and we are nearing the end of the season. GG Machine. GG Machine takes down... Hey, we just spoke about him. We just spoke about Moja. GG Machine takes down Moja 3-2 to advance on to the grand finals. Again, Moja has been looking very strong in this season's OSC. He took down Shameless, Sebestes, Art. He went to the ace match against GG Machine. Moja's been looking better than I've seen him in a long time. Like, Moja's looking really good right now. So he's coming in second place. Well, he's up there. He's at least top 3. Meanwhile, again, we do have Babe Marine. He's still in the events. So actually, if you remember, I just rated Babe Marine above Moja when I was, naming off some European Terrans. But again, this season, like, Moja's been looking crazy. Like really, really good this season. Babe Marine, he takes down Vaeda 2-0. He's up against Sebestes in the lower bracket round 2. That still has yet to play out. Winner goes up against Fiant, then into UD Soldier. So a lot of those matches still yet to play out. We did cast Shameless versus Mini Zerg, and then we casted a big upset. Shameless has been having, like many Protoss players, has been having a really hard time this patch. Shameless was very vocal about that. He actually renamed his ID on Europe to Great Patch, and Shino, the French Zerg player, this season he's been enjoying himself. He takes down Homono 2-1, takes down Jumi 2-1. That's already a huge win. And he takes down Shameless. Fun fact, last season, last patch, Shameless was the champion. Shameless, he was the OSC Elite Rising Star number 19 champion. But here he goes down early in the tournament to Shino. GG. GG will play it, so big upset there. Shino's up against Art. If you remember Art, he was last season's runner-up. It was Shameless versus Art in the grand finals. Here, Art, he's also up against the wall against Shino. We'll see if Shino can take down another Protoss. If Shino can take down Jumi and Shameless, he can take down Art as well. 100%. Like, Art is not safe. he's not safe against Shino. Aye. So best of luck to the two players there in next week's matches. Likewise, Sebestes, Baby Marine, they'll be facing off next week as well to work our way through towards that lower bracket finals. We'll get there. We will get there. Up next, we have the OSC 2026 Midseason Playoffs number 1. We have our champion. Here we go. We wrapped up the final matches. In the end, Max Pax. It takes down Cure 3-2 in the upper bracket. That takes us to the lower bracket. The lower bracket was taking place, of course. It looks like these were the matches that actually were this week. Lambo takes down Solo 3-2. Huge win. This validates what we said earlier about the ZVZ and Pigsty Festival. Remember, it was a group of ZVZ. It was Serral, Rogue, Shin, and Lambert. And I was like, these guys, they all trade, they all go back and forth. Rogue beat Shin in RSL, Shin beat Rogue in Pigsty Festival, and here Lambo takes on Solar 3-2. Huge win here for Lambo. Big win in the longer best of 5. GG. And if you remember, Solar beat Lambo in the GSTL. In GSTL. So again, they all trade, they all go back and forth in CVZs. It's a very aggressive, very chaotic matchup at the moment. And congratulations to Lambo for claiming that win. Short-lived, as his teammate Bjorn did knock him down, but also went to the ace match. Bjorn takes down Lambo 3-2 to advance on to lower bracket finals. Kura takes down Bjorn 3-1. Again, I do favor Kura in TVTs. Bjorn did defeat Kura recently in the PiGFest Cup, but again, they trade, they go back and forth. Kura takes on Bjorn here, and Kura gets his revenge over MaxPax 4-3, went all the way to the ace match. Went all the way to that final game, but Cure is going to be this season's, or this mid-season's, champion. Congratulations. Congratulations to Cure. That leads us into the OC King of the Hill, number 259. This is a King of the Hill style tournament. Best of 1, winner stays on, loser gets knocked out. Percival, he steps in as the reigning King of the Hill, I believe. I'll have to double check that. Yes, he was the reigning King of the Hill of last week's tournament. Here he goes on a big win streak. He takes down Minizerg UA 1-0, takes down Azura, takes down Marja as well. 3 wins in a row before being knocked down by Cristiano. Cristiano, he does start his own bigger win streak. Takes down Percival, takes down Vaeda, takes down Lelix, Luna C, who I haven't seen play in quite some time, to be honest. Great to see Luna C once again. Takes down Hormono. 5-game win streak before falling to Classic. Classic pops off. Classic is not a regular in this tournament, by the way. Classic, he does not often play in the King of the Hill, so really nice sight to see Classic here. Takes down Cristiano, takes down Shino, 2 wins in a row before Percival gets revived. Sometimes if we run out of players, if Eddie runs out of players, then he will reuse them. So Percival, he got knocked down earlier, but here he gets sent out for a second time, takes down Classic 1-0, takes down MaxPax 1-0 as well. Huge wins for Percival. I would say his best matchup is TVP, 100%. Takes them both down. Bjorn does stop Percival in his tracks, takes him down 1-0, and then he takes it from there. Takes on Hormono and Cristiano. GG, well played. This week, Bjorn is going to be the final King of the Hill. Going to be the reigning King of the Hill. But a shout out to Percival, as Percival and Cristiano, they both get a lot of wins on the board. It was 5 win streak there for Cristiano. Percival, he also won 5 games as well. Not in a row, not as impressive, but still 5 wins for Percival. So congratulations to our top 2 earning players, Percival and Cristiano, and of course Bjorn for becoming the final King of the Hill. He'll be invited to jump in and to be the starting player next week. Will be invited. We then have this week's Open Cups. We have our Open Cups this week. Up first is going to be the Sparkling Tunic Cup, the STC number 142. Here, I believe, was it this week where we were clashing with, no, I think it was last week we were clashing with GSLCK Brood War. Yeah, I think it was last week. Before this event, we did have our regular Korean competitors. We had Bjorn and Shin. They were fated to face off in the grand finals. We were hoping that maybe one of the others could stop them. Gigi Machine takes down Nickrak 2-1, but does fall to Bjorn in the semis. Percival takes down Perceive 2-0, but does fall to Shin in the semis as well. So Bjorn versus Shin in the grand finals. It was very intense, very back and forth, went all the way to the ace match. I do recommend the VODs, but Shin takes down Bjorn 3-2 to become this week's Tunic Cup champion. GG. GG will play to Shin. Up next, we had the Award DCB Monday, number 100. Oh my god. We had number 100. Did we have anything special for number 100? Bigger prize pool. Okay. There was a bigger prize pool here for this event. Here we had Shin. Shin, who was the Tunic Cup champion. He takes down Bjorn 2-0. Bjorn took down Classic in the first round. Bjorn falls in the quarterfinals. Shin takes down MaxPax in the semis. At the same time, Rogue took down Cure 2-0, but falls to Solar, who took down Hero earlier, and Hero Marine. And then we have our ZVZ finals. ZVZ finals here. Solar takes down Shin 3-2 to become this week's champion. As I mentioned at the beginning, and it keeps going around, but Solar, Shin, Rogue, all these Zergs, they all go back and forth, they all trade. Here, Solo takes on Shin to become our champion for the WarDTV Monday. That leads us here into the PiGFest Cup number 95. This was a couple of days ago. Solar takes down Percival 3-2, went all the way to the ace match. Björn takes down Cure 3-0 in the semifinals as well. So if you remember, Cure took down Björn earlier in the week. He's going to go earlier in the mid-season playoffs, if you recall. Here, Björn takes down Cure. So they do trade, they go back and forth. Björn takes down Cure 3-0. Then we have the grand finals. Solar takes down Björn 3-0 in the grand finals. Strong showing out of Solar. Björn did play a lot of mech that series. A lot of mech with mixed results, as you can see. We then, of course, had last night's tournament, Kung Fu Cup. We had the KFC, the Kung Fu Cup number 20. Here, Creator. Remember, Creator, he's a part-time player nowadays. He's pseudo-retired. He does focus on other aspects of his career at the moment on his IRL job, but he does show up here. Cure takes down Creator 2-0. Rogue took down Björn earlier, takes down Cure in the semifinals, so advanced on to the grand finals. Here we had Hero taking down Shameless. Percival takes down Hero 2-0. Percival also took down Classic 2-0 as well, so Percival, he takes down both top 2 Protoss players in the world. They both fall to Percival, and then he goes all to the ace match against Rogue. They go all the way to the ace match again. Percival, he's been improving a lot as a player, especially in this most recent patch. His speed and aggression has been more and more favored here, especially against Zerg. And he goes all the way to game 5. Rogue will be the champion here, but Percival put up a very, very strong fight. GG. GG well played. So congratulations to our champions here, to Shin, to Solar once again, and to Rogue for becoming our champions. Oh boy. So congratulations. And that wraps up all of the tournament results for the week. Wraps us up for the week here. Again, if you want to tune in, or if you want to take part in some of these tournaments, sign up list in the chat. The list here does show all the upcoming tournaments. Tomorrow, in 2 days time, we have MSO, the Masters One Open, we have the Berry Patch Open, we have the Chat Star League, we have STC, WarDTV Mondays, the Patches Monday, PiGFest Cup. It is all on the sign up list, so you can take part, you can compete if you wish. It's all there on the sign-up list. If you want to support us, you can do so via the Patreon. !Patreon in the chat. Our Patreon does fund our tournaments on a regular basis. It funds the Tuna Cup, it funds the Duckling Open, it funds the Swan Open as well. It is all funded via the Patreon. So you can check us out there. And you can help support us there if you wish, to help us reach bigger and better stretch goals and help fund the scene and help fund StarCraft. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We're going to be wrapping up here for the time being. Again, there's a lot to go over, a lot to go through, and we'll see you guys next week for the next podcast. When it comes to our next broadcast here on the CranKy Ducklings, we should be live in around 12 hours. 12 hours time with the Patches Patch Clash. We're going to be live tomorrow morning, again in 12 hours time, and after that we'll have MSO on Saturday, Tuna Cup on Sunday. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. We'll see you then. We'll see you then.
And if you are interested in something other than StarCraft, there may be some Divinity.
True. Yeah, tomorrow we are going to be playing. We should be playing some Divinity tomorrow. If you're interested, we also do play Final Fantasy every now and then. Myself and Kuro. Personally, I've been playing through the. I played through the Zero Space campaign. It's all on YouTube. I'm playing through the Brood War campaign, also being up. Sorry, StarCraft 1 campaign, also being uploaded to YouTube as well. So we have some other pieces of content out there if you're interested. Kura and I were going through the Bad Batch, Star Wars: The Bad Batch, and reviewing that on a weekly basis. So we also have content there as well. Again, just kind of branching out a little bit during this off season or during this time where StarCraft is at a bit of a lull, or we're taking a step back.
I want to be clear. We've been doing all of these things for a while. It's just that we're devoting a bit more attention to it than usual.
Yes. Giving it more attention. Just like how with Brood War or StarCraft, we started that this week. There you go. But with that, we're going to be wrapping up here for the time being. We'll see you guys in 12 hours time with the Patches Patch Clash. We'll see you then. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Shout out to Kuro for handling the production, of course, and hope you all enjoyed yourselves in the chat. Hope you enjoyed. Take care. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.